Key music. Welcome back to the Experts in Fire podcast. I'm your host, Mike Vennard, and today's episode will be about understanding the current state of supply chain shortages, what it means to the customer. Let's get into it. Hey, Randy, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing awesome. Good morning. So how are you?
I am well. It's gorgeous. It's rainy today. I gotta admit, I love the rain. I'm not really a melancholy person, but I do enjoy just sitting and watching the rain.
That's nice. It was nice for sleeping too last night. It may have been warm outside, but just the noise outside is just that tranquil rain just beating on the house.
Yeah.
Keeps you asleep,
Yep.
I'm an old guy, so when I got to get up and go to use the restroom in the middle of the night, it's nice to be able to go right back to sleep.
You don't have You don't have to turn on one of those rain apps or anything. You can just open a window.
Exactly. Just open the window.
I love it. So, Randy, today we are talking about supply chain, and I know in my role here at Woodland, I deal with it on a daily basis. I know you guys on the sales side are our front line, and I salute our sales team and our service team because a lot of times you're getting the information. Just calling and checking on an order, you're finding new news for us. I know you live it every day. It's been crazy for the last year. Just trying to get product for customers. I mean, how has that impacted you on your side?
It has been nuts. As far as our customer base impact, really more for contractors. Homeowners have been fantastic as well. It's just with the contractors, when they have projects that are date-based, they have openings and things of that nature, that's where it really becomes challenging. And then there's been several occasions where we have processed orders for the clients and to find that there's some delays, and in some cases, some major delays, and then have to re-engage not only my client, but their client to change a product that's something that we can maybe get quicker, that was maybe delayed back at the original time, but is now available. So there's definitely a lot of back and forth with some product and with the clients.
Yeah, it is. It's an opportunity for us just to talk with our listeners and really dive into what everybody is beginning to come out of the COVID. I don't know what you want to call it, the COVID lockdown, or just everybody's pulled back in terms of going out and about. And I know here in the state of Michigan, the governor just announced that she's lifting all restrictions as of June 22nd. So as we're recording this, there are still restrictions here in the state of Michigan. The impact that is being felt is going to continue to be felt in terms of the supply chain for quite a few months. And, for our listeners, just consider the supplier of the raw materials for the manufacturer is having issues procuring what they need, which means the manufacturer is having issues getting the product they need in order to build, which means if they go directly to consumer or if they go to distribution, consumers and distributors aren't able to get what they need. And if distribution can't get what they need, they can't supply the order for the customer. So the big battle for us has been, how do we give the end user, that pro who is out there saying, I need a fireplace, I've built out the hole, I just need to shove a fireplace in there and be able to move on to the next job. Our challenge has been, how do we give him accurate, yes, it will deliver at this time, when the chances are we could get a call tomorrow that says, yeah, our steel producer has lost any chance of fulfilling what we ordered from them. So, there's this trickle-down effect, but I wanted to start with the material side. I mean, what kind of materials with the product that we're trying to get to our customers are we talking about here, Randy?
Mainly, you're thinking steel, and like electronics, things like that. Those are probably a couple of the top two for our industry, because those two things go into nearly everything that we offer. And with outdoor appliances, I mean, it's indoor and outdoor fireplaces, outdoor, indoor, barbecue grills. So, steel or electronics, think of it as a 6-lane California highway, and immediately with no arrows saying it's narrowing down, it goes down to 1 lane. And that's what's happened to like our raw materials companies. And so when that happens, they can only do what they can do and produce as quickly as they can. We're nowhere near having 6 lanes of open traffic of materials to manufacturers yet. They're still working through all that. So when that happens, our manufacturers are not getting the materials from the raw material companies. You have the transit part of it, which I believe you've had some conversations with the transit companies, but the transit from raw materials to the manufacturers, you have the trickle effect because the transit, the trucking companies are involved in every aspect of the product itself as well. So we have to work with that as well, Mike.
We're certainly not trying to pull anyone's chain or frustrate people or give false promises. Matter of fact, we work hard on setting proper expectations. And sometimes, especially in scenarios like this, we're even giving some padding in there just to help the customer. But I would encourage all of our clients, just consider, is there an alternative to what I'm trying to get? If time is the angst that you feel, sometimes it's nope, that is the look I have to have that unit. So your angst is that unit. But sometimes if time is the push, when we work with our manufacturers and they talk with us about the steel shortages they have, or, a lot of times it's particular lines that they have inside of their catalog. So they know, hey, we're producing these just fine. We're having issues getting pieces for this over here. If you can talk to the customer and have them go with one of these, we can get it out tomorrow. So just getting that idea, and that's really a big reason why we wanted to do this podcast, was so that everyone could see if you walk in with an alternative to, okay, I really like this one, but if I can't get this one, I'll take that one. Or better yet, if you come in and give one of our pros a call and say, hey, I really like this one, but talk to me. Is there one that that is in stock? Now that's a little bit of a gamble as well.
Absolutely. Because as you mentioned previously, we do inventory every day as far as getting it out to the sales team. They do a fantastic job of trying to stay in contact with the suppliers. However, I can look at an inventory sheet at 9 o'clock in the morning, and it may show 10 items available at one of the warehouses that we work with. By noon, depending on the product, those 10 may be gone. Or we place an order first thing in the morning, we get it out there, get it down there, processed through the system, and by the time it actually gets to the warehouse, they're gone. So now there are some things there because we started with the raw materials, those raw materials getting to our manufacturers. And then from what I understand over the last 12 months, and I don't know the exact timelines and all this, but our manufacturers were also limited by how many hours or days that they could be open, or possibly how many employees they could have, in the factory working at one time. So there were a lot of changes that they had to work and deal with too. A lot of folks that are probably watch the news, think of the big three, the automotive manufacturers here in Michigan. They dealt with the same thing, and they have parking lots of cars that they can't sell because they're missing parts. In our industry, our manufacturers weren't doing that. They weren't pre-building and stacking products to go back in and open them up and put pieces in.
Right. Yeah, there's so many facets to this, and we really want to help everyone gain an understanding. Nobody's making excuses. An excuse is if you're saying you didn't do something and you could have.
Correct.
Or you should have.
Absolutely agree.
Right? This is 100%. I have no control. I had to look at somebody the other day and go, I could get on a plane right now, fly out there, and there wouldn't be a single thing I could do because they don't have the material.
Correct.
I mean, it's just that is the current state of things. You have fire-related questions, and we have answers. You can email us your questions at podcast@woodlanddirect.com, or give us a call at 586-221-3638. We would love to be able to answer them right here on the Experts in Fire podcast. We spoke about materials, and that causes a traffic jam. But what's really been interesting throughout this whole thing is the spotlight on the shipping industry, getting trucks to move product. And you said it, and it made me smile, and I'm not sure that our listeners caught it, though. You said the trucks have to pick up the raw materials and take it to the manufacturers. And then trucks have to pick up from the manufacturers and deliver to whether it's brick and mortar stores or distributors. And then trucks have to pick up from them to take the product onward. The shipping trucking industry is hit in every aspect of this traffic jam. And that's exactly what I pictured. I pictured a 6-lane highway, and there are trucks in every one of those lanes, and we're all at a standstill. And then you got the left lane that creeps a little bit, and everybody sees it start to move, so they get into the left lane, and it just all shuts down again, right?
It just bottlenecks. The truckers out there are doing a great job of what they do. It's just a very important role that I think sometimes gets overlooked when we're talking about end use product, whether it's to a homeowner or whether it's to a contract job site. They're involved in that same bottleneck as everybody else. I just know that they're involved with every part of it. And if everybody is at a bottleneck, they're going to be at some type of bottleneck as well.
Well, and you have to consider that these trucks are wanting to be filled to the brim to move. They don't want to just move with a few pieces. So, when you're moving product on the material side over to the manufacturers so that they can produce, they can build, they have their world beginning to go again. And then it's really those trucks moving the product to the distributors, even our own warehouse, that prices have gone up and people think it's gouging. Really, prices have gone up because they have had to hire more and more and more and more people. And anytime you get into a hiring frenzy, you run into issues. You're going to run into some big problems. So, getting that product just to the warehouses has been a big deal. And that's a part of just moving product around the country. But then once you've placed your order, you think, okay, I have a 3-week lead time. And they're expecting a truck, and a truck is going to land, and then they're going to pull that product off the truck for me and then ship that to me. What's happening right now, using the same analogy of a traffic jam, is a lot of times when a truck lands at our dock, a large percentage of that product is already shipping out the door. So lead times begin to go from 1 week to 2 weeks to 3 weeks to when's that next truck coming? Because we've already sold 75% before the truck even landed. Now we have to fulfill that for our customers and get that taken care of. And our lead times on this 25%, what do? I could ship this to a customer today, but if I change the lead time on my website and it's gone tomorrow, we're back to when's that next truck going to be here? How fast can you guys produce?
Right. Yeah, because one of the things that we noticed is throughout this whole pandemic is, a lot of the factories, the restaurants, those folks stopped, unfortunately. But from a purchasing standpoint, people remodeling their homes and wanting, because they are home more, fireplaces, barbecue grills, and a lot of other products never stopped. So our regular business continued, plus the influx, and then we put that onto the manufacturers to build more, which they can't, which kind of leads in, you mentioned, the lead times in fulfilling orders that have already been placed. So when you have orders that have already been placed that can't be fulfilled, and then you're still adding orders on top of that for, the manufacturers, it all just adds up over time. And that's where you get into some of these manufacturers when they do run out of product and materials. That's why we see 12, 14, 16-week lead times. And these are extremes, of course. These were in the heart of the pandemic. That's why we're seeing those huge long lead times, is they've just flat out ran out of product from a manufacturing standpoint. And everything that they need to build, they need the raw materials, which takes us back to the beginning. They need the raw materials to do that. So nothing slowed down in respect of people wanting to enjoy, wanting to remodel, wanting to build, because the building and remodeling, those were all essential services throughout the process. So those guys never stopped, but the manufacturing part did. So those are some challenges, and I feel that we're so far into this pandemic now that a lot of folks are understanding of what's going on. I can't get my refrigerator for 4 months. I can't get my love seat that I ordered for 6 months. So they have a much better and clearer understanding of this coming into this, our initial phone calls when they call us, because a lot of times is, what are you guys thinking lead time wise? It's not when is it going to ship or when I'm going to receive. What are you thinking? It's not what do you know, it's what are you thinking? What is the realistic thought? So I've had some pretty funny conversations with folks that maybe typically would have needed something quickly, and they're just like, send me some options, So definitely getting better. Those conversations are much better than in the beginning, because in the beginning they were, I don't understand, why is it taking so long? So
yeah, before they were excuses, right? The manufacturer should have known to order more of those, or whatever. And I get it. At this stage, there's just nothing that can be done, and we are slowly. I don't want to make it seem like the traffic jam isn't moving. We're getting down the road slowly down the road. If you've ever been to the state of Michigan, I-75 runs right through the heart of Michigan. And everybody here loves to go up north. That's our thing here in the state. We go up north and enjoy the woods with the trees, the cool breezes at night, and it's beautiful. But then everybody in their campers makes their way back to the funnel of I-75. And I have sat on that silly road for hours. A 3.5 hour for me has taken 6.5 hours. So I can picture what's going on. We're getting there, but it's taking a while. So I go back to Randy, when you call in, and we appreciate our clients giving that grace and having that understanding, but I think it's a great idea for them to have an idea of alternatives, or even approach us with, this is what I'm looking for, but it doesn't necessarily have to be this. Do you have something that you have? Because we do have a warehouse full of stuff, and our team will turn it around all the time, same day, if it comes in the morning to early afternoon. But that's one of the neat things on our site. If you see that 1 to 2 day shipping time, that means we have it in our warehouse. We're going to be able to grab it and put it on a truck. So, having the ability for folks to do that and maybe navigate. I am that guy. I see an exit. I see a whole bunch of traffic just sitting there. I don't mind tooling down the side roads. I'll find a different path. I'll change direction if I need to. So if you have that ability or opportunity, please don't hesitate to call. Search the website yourself if you'd like. That's always awesome too. Now, the one last thing I wanted to touch on, Randy, is once you've placed that order, we get it on a truck, and we have been blessed thus far to continue to have trucks showing up to our warehouse. We have vendors that we work with across the country, especially those in SoCal out there, that trucks just stopped showing up. So we finally got the product, it's built, and we have the order to fulfill, and we can't even get it on a truck now, because the truck to take it that last mile from the spot to the customer, so many reasons why. I don't even want to go through. I could list so many reasons why trucks just stopped showing up. And that's where our relationships with our shippers have come in really strong. We were able to make pretty quick and easy phone calls, and where they got jammed up, we were able to get on the phone and talk with our customers and let them know it's going to be a couple days late, but they eventually got those trucks there. So all of these things play into this idea of, I'm the end user, where's my stuff? I'm a consumer, Randy, so I get it. I know the feeling, man.
I'm right there with you. I get it too, definitely.
Hopefully, this has helped our listeners a little bit. If you have any questions about supply chain management and what's going on within the industry here, don't hesitate to reach out to us. If you have something else that you're being faced with during this pandemic and you're wondering, man, I think this would be a good topic for you guys to discuss. If I'm dealing with it, I'm sure there are other people out there dealing with it. Please shoot it over to us. We'd love to discuss anything that's going to help everyone out there. This is key for me, Randy. It's going to help everyone out there. Just take a deep breath. And I feel that stress and the feeling of I have to get this done because people need to make money. They need to get back to making a living. They need to get back into their homes that are finished. You know, there are stresses on so many sides of this thing. We would love to just have a discussion to help you maybe share with your clients, this is what's going on, this is what's happening, and this is the why, to help them take a deep breath. Because like you said, the majority of people we've been working with understand.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, the contractors, they have a real clear understanding of what's going on. So they're trying to stay on the front end of their projects as well, reaching out even sooner. And if there's not a particular item that some of the contractors need for multiple builds, if they're doing apartments and condos and stuff like that, we do have a bank of different fireplaces that we can get out on a pretty quick basis for those guys. If they're needing 2, 3, 4, and 5 of an item, we have product. It's when you get into, like you had mentioned, is a particular, we want this with an LED light, we want it this size, things of that nature. That's where we really need to fine tune things. We can always find something that will help folks out. And if they want that particular item, we'll get the lead times and express that this could change. The other thing that we didn't really touch on too, I just want, and some folks may know this, some folks may not. A lot of product is built here in the US, but then we also have a lot of product that is built in Canada and or like in places like in Australia or something like that. And so you have those travel times to take into consideration as well. We're a stone's throw from the Canadian border, but sometimes product coming across the border is just taking longer than normal as well. So there's delays there as well. So just want to let folks know that too, if we're looking at a particular product, maybe that's coming from some of our country partners and things like that, that we may have some extended delays there.
We are here to help create amazing experiences around fire. It's what we do, and we're certainly not telling you to settle. You mentioned a 4-month lead time for a fridge. I've got a friend who ordered a fridge, and they knew the exact one they wanted, and they're going to have that thing for a long time, so they're waiting. We will do our best to get you the updates. If that is the one that you want, we're going to work hard for you. If you're looking at it going, I just want fire. I want fire. Show me some options, Randy. Then we can absolutely do that as well. So, Randy, as always, brother, I really appreciate your help on this one and talking through. I know it's a stress for you, man. Every day, your livelihood depends on this, just like our pros. You're not getting paid on anything unless somebody gets product and it's sitting there and they're getting to install it. So, man, I really appreciate you struggling through this, the rest of the team as well, bro.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much, Mike. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for listening. Join us next time when we'll be talking about ventless fireplaces. Are they safe? We'll see you then.